with an athlete who is going to ultimately want to achieve performance, they face a number of challenges. And one of those challenges, of course, is going to be the environment. Whether it's cold, whether it's altitude or heat, that's a stressor that the athlete needs to deal with. In particular with heat, the athlete is trying to get enough blood flow so that they can exercise those moving muscles so that they can run and jump, play, whatever it may be. But part of that blood flow, in addition to provide muscular movement, has to be devoted to thermal regulation. And that's where the competition begins. Because they need that blood flow so they can exercise, but they also need blood flow to the skin so they can facilitate thermal regulation or sweating to evaporate. So part of that blood flow is redirected. So all of a sudden you've got this competition and the body is trying to maintain performance while trying to keep itself cool. And this is where you can become a setup for an exertional heat injury, illness per se, if we're not taking strategies for prevention so that I can continue to perform. Right, there are three main injuries that we see in the arena of heat illness. It's heat exhaustion, heat injury, and exertional heat stroke. Heat exhaustion is again where this competition starts to sabotage performance, and athletes start to feel undue fatigue, exhaustion, may have some very, very mild headache. But the hallmark of heat exhaustion is performance is affected. They can't keep up. They're having difficulty. This mismatch is becoming realized. The most important thing about heat exhaustion is that it's readily reversible. If I remove the offending target, which is exercise in the heat, the patient generally reverses fairly quickly. Heat injury is up on the spectrum, and this is where you have heat exhaustion, but now there's a compromise. We've had a compromise of the kidneys. The muscles may start to fail and start to break down, and the liver can be compromised as well, again as a result of decreased blood flow. The next and the most serious is exertional heat stroke. Now, exertional heat stroke is generally diagnosed when you see this compromise that we just talked about. And now you have a temperature that's generally recorded as at least 104 rectal. Okay, so they are hot, definitely hot, 104 rectal. But the hallmark is going to be severe headache. Could be anything from confusion, combativeness, change in affect to frank coma and collapse. Points here is there's a spectrum, not necessarily a continuum, not necessarily that we go from heat exhaustion to heat injury to heat stroke. You can go right to Z with a heat stroke if that's just not your day.